All right, let's get into the dollar, okay? Because you live here with the I, and it's glowing. And this is AI. That is me and you, and we are gathered into one. And we are the bodies and members of Christ, and this is the return of Christ. Okay, and Jesus returns in us. And some of us have been blinded to where we can't see this, okay? Because the Jesus out here, they're telling you is the Christ when he told you you are the Christ. We are all the Christ. So this is part of that weird antichrist thing where they see this as antichrist because they see this man as Christ, but he's telling you, hey, in end times, there's going to be many teaching, I am the Christ, in Matthew 24. So this is where the beast man, the mark of the beast, the cash, those people, they can't move into the next heaven and earth that's setting up in technology, okay? And the BRICS is coming to lead you to that Oz, the new Oz, but it also, you can take it to behind the curtain, okay? So, as Bitcoin came out in 2015, you're up here when AI's running shit. That's how news and all these things are going so fast. Deepfakes are coming out and all these things, but all this for the Israel versus the Israel and all those things. So if you know that you've been living in a world stage, then this stuff kind of doesn't matter. And it's quite entertaining to see how people are given over to these so-called 7 candlesticks that Jesus warned you of to come out, to overcome, and all this other stuff. But as Bitcoin, the bit for the ox to pull or push, okay, they are going to be hit and go to the bottom because that hala meat, that ala meat, haha meat or whatever, they believe on knocking the animal out first and then butchering it. Okay, so a little double whammy. So the and it's more morbid and all that other stuff, but either way, so the Bitcoin, when the alternator currencies were ready, they came out with it and took it up here, all right, and then it came back to here, and that's where it's kind of been petering at, the 20 to 50, somewhere in there. Well, it was at 20 and then it's now 50, 55 or whatever, but as it's doing these time zone sequences, all right, we might see it go up to maybe 88 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden it's fucking gone, all right? And then that's part of that big still, that seamless still. And then you got your alternator currencies going on, your BRICS platforms tied to Tron and other things, but that would be for the electronic time frame. But this is where we can see the parallel economies coming out. The cashless, when the cashless comes, the banks close. We can see Texas or Florida or Oklahoma, Idaho, these panhandle states. They're going to be cooking some shit up. But as this is going on, we can see how states or whatever can offer, hey, we're going to go back to cash. We're going to keep offering cash. We're going to force these banks to open and all this. So we'll pay the bill or whatever. Either way, we can see how the people can start doing that mad exodus to go get their cash out of the bank and all these other things. Okay, so Bitcoin is the BTC. That's 223. All right, 22,911 to the 23. You're in that crowning for that birth. Okay, and that crown 22,911 to the 23 on 9/11. Well, you're in that right now, and then 2020, this anniversary in 2024 is the 23rd year. So this is probably when the told you the false prophets, 42 months, 7/20/24. That's the full power of the dragon. So that's when we can see this money or whatever rise up and then just be yanked away, or however they do this switch on this, when they turn the switch off and turn the switch on. And then we see China's banks closing. This is a red flag. Other countries' banks have been closing. We have banks here closing. But when the way it's working out, you don't need cash where we're going. And then that's all paper. It's cast to the ground. It's the mark in the right hand to buy and sell. It's the mark in the right hand, the name and number. Those things are tied to multiple spectrums, and they're tied to the 7 lights. So this is where we've been tracking these different things, where Trump is the mark of the name and number in one hand, and your cells on this are 1, and all this other stuff. But as these things come in, and then this eye starts shining bright and starts blinking at them and shit, they're gonna be like freaking out. And when the beast and whatever gets up to their you know how you look into a barn, you see that cow eye or whatever, and sees you and freaks them out or whatever. But either way, it's that old glory hole for that second coming, basically. And we know what happens when you put your eye up to the glory hole for the second coming. It's not fun. Okay, so these are the times of offense. If you can't talk about these things of the world, then you're going to be totally lost, especially on the second coming one, because this is a bunch of sex shit, all right? And you just gotta think with that side of the brain, okay? Not your other right side, that side, so you actually know what's going on. So, either way, hope you understand this a little bit better about Bitcoin, because it's for like the old heaven and earth, and it's a cooling device. As it's a cooling device, it's gonna heat up some people and shit like that, and it's a mass steal, and most of this wealth is probably owned. The Bitcoin wealth is probably owned by the countries or whatever. So as all these countries are cashing in, getting their dollars out, blah, 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 however it's working, this is where they just use the script or whatever to pull in the other thing or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's real or not, or who owns it or who doesn't own it or whatever, right? But they're going to show you on the world script how these things affect it when these numbers go up or down or whatever. So as these numbers go up or down, as the eye shines bright, as the dollar bill is yanked, see, notice the 11, the 47 on the S, all right? So that's that serpent coming for next year, because the dragon is giving its power, and all this is filled up, okay? And it's about to explode into this area. And this is where they're stacking all the bricks to contain this new thing for the new system coming, okay? So, 80%, the 80-20 rule, that kind of thing, or whatever, okay? We'll just end it here, folks.